Hello friends, and welcome to the End of Days channel. I hope you all are doing well, and if you're new, welcome. I want to say thank you as well to all my new subscribers. It means a lot to me. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you would like to help my channel grow, since I am a new YouTuber. Thanks in advance, friends. Let's dive in. Who were the Nephilim, the Bible's mysterious race of giants? The Nephilim in the Bible were superhuman giants born from unions between divine beings and mortal women, known as the Fallen Ones. The Book of Enoch expands on the Nephilim story, introducing rebellious angels called the Watchers who bring monstrous giants into the world. Different interpretations exist on the origins of sin. Genesis blames Adam and Eve, while the Book of Enoch shifts the blame to the Watchers and their offspring, presenting a competing narrative in ancient Jewish beliefs. The Book of Genesis contains some of the most famous origin myths in Western culture. God's creation of the heavens and earth, Adam and Eve eating the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, and God commanding Noah to collect 2 of every animal to survive the Great Flood. But hidden among these better-known stories is an intriguing and somewhat confounding account of fallen angels and a race of superhuman giants roaming Earth. The whole wild story is contained in just 3 verses at the start of Genesis chapter 6. The King James Version goes like this: "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose." There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. In the original Hebrew, the term for these giants and mighty men is Nephilim, which is derived from the Hebrew word nafal, meaning to fall. In that sense, this race of giants, born of unholy unions between divine sons of God, that is, angelic beings, and mortal daughters of men, that is, human females, are better translated as the fallen ones. God-human hybrids in the ancient world. Scholars say there are 2 possible reasons why the Genesis account of the Nephilim is so short. It's either a much longer story that got truncated in the text, or it was so common of a story that the authors of Genesis didn't bother to write down the whole thing, says Kevin Sullivan, a religion professor at Illinois Wesleyan University who specializes in ancient Jewish and Christian mysticism with a focus on angels and demons. Across the ancient Near East and Mediterranean world, there were long-standing myths of gods falling in love or lust with human women, having sexual relationships with them and spawning godmen of superhuman size, strength and power. In ancient Greek mythology, for example, Zeus fathered the hero Heracles, Hercules in Roman myth, from a tryst with the beautiful human Alcmene. Those demigod figures, well known to the ancient authors and readers of the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament, were the mighty men of old and men of renown referred to in Genesis. And this short text provides a passing explanation of how they came to be. They're superhuman because what they represent is something God never designed, says Sullivan. They're a hybrid between beings that should have stayed in heaven and beings that should be on earth. The Nephilim are not divine in the sense that they're heading back to heaven, so they kind of trundle around the earth as this weird mix. Introducing the Watchers. The 3-verse Genesis account of the Nephilim only hints at the notion that the unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men were a transgression. But later, Jewish writers ran with that idea and expanded the cast of characters to include a rebellious and sinful band of angels called the Watchers. In the text known as the Book of Enoch, likely written between 300 and 200 BCE, a group of 200 angels, led by the angel Semjaza or Samyaza, hatch a plot to take wives from the beautiful and comely daughters of men. They know that what they're doing is a great sin, so they make a pact to follow through with it at all costs and suffer the consequences together. The rebellious angels are called by the Aramaic word Irene, which is derived from a word meaning awake. Therefore, Irene has sometimes been translated as the awakened ones. But more often they're called the Watchers because their job as angels was to remain vigilant and watch over mankind. Later, in the Book of Enoch, even the loyal angels are called Watchers, but the name is mostly associated with the bad guys. The Watchers and Nephilim corrupt the world. In the Book of Enoch, the Nephilim begat by the Watchers and human women aren't the heroic men of renown of Genesis, but great giants whose height was 3,000 ells, which is more than 3,000 meters, or roughly 9,840 feet tall. In their insatiable hunger, the monstrous Nephilim eat all of mankind's food, and when the food runs out, they start eating the men themselves. Not only do the Watchers bring these bloodthirsty giants into the world, but some of the fallen angels teach the women charms and enchantments, how to use roots and plants for sorcery, as well as how to make jewelry and makeup for the beautifying of the eyelids. To the men, the Watchers teach metallurgy and how to fashion swords and knives and shields and breastplates. And there arose much godlessness, and mankind committed fornication, and they were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven, the Book of Enoch says. It is only then that God intervenes and tells the angels to warn Noah of the coming flood, intended to heal the earth that the angels have corrupted. God further commands his loyal angels to destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the Watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end. Two competing explanations of the origins of sin. In Genesis chapter 3, Adam and Eve were blamed for introducing sin into the world when they ate the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Later in Genesis, God destroyed the human race via a great flood because of the wickedness of man, repenting that he ever made man at all. Noah was the only righteous man on earth, so God spared him and his family. In fact, some experts think the daughters of men mentioned in that Genesis passage were ungodly women descended from Cain, while the sons of God were human males descended from godly Seth. Both Cain and Seth were sons of Adam and Eve. But the Book of Enoch paints a very different origin story for sin. Here, human beings aren't the ones to screw everything up, but the Watchers and their heinous offspring. Sullivan says that this version of the creation story dates to the Second Temple period of Judaism, when there was a prevailing belief in a cosmic struggle between the forces of good and the forces of evil, represented here by the Watchers. There's this huge amount of literature during the Second Temple period that provided a pretty significant competing narrative to Genesis, says Sullivan. It says that God created humans in his image, and they were good, but it was the angels that messed it all up. The reason there's evil in the world is because of these divine beings. Sullivan says that these two competing narratives around the origin of sin existed simultaneously within Judaism for hundreds of years, with different Jewish sects latching onto both stories. Fragments of the Book of Enoch, for example, were among the Dead Sea Scrolls alongside other apocalyptic texts that foretold a final war between the divine forces of good and evil. Thanks for watching, and until next time, friends, God bless you and stay safe. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me in the YouTube algorithm. Talk soon. Please hit like to see more content like this.